A shocking betrayal from the past sheds light onto a dark character. Deadly new threats arise, and one familiar face begrudgingly saved the day. Did these last two episodes pivot enough for fans to actually care if we get a season three? Stick around and find out. There's no intro playing. Technical difficulties. Boom. Yeah, sometimes you nail it, sometimes you don't. So, we are going to be breaking down both episodes of The Last of Us for this week. We lied a little bit. We were supposed to be back last week, but we had some things going on, but fear not, we're here today to break things down. We're going to be breaking down season two, episodes 4 and 5, day one, and Feel Her Love. So, I have a love hate relationship with this show now, and I'll save that for later on. But I want to get you guys' overall opinions on these last two episodes. What did you guys think, Desiree?
Okay, the episode before last wasn't as good to me. Um, this last episode, a little bit better.
Jay?
Yeah, I have to agree with Des.
Gerald?
So I'll be honest, I don't remember a whole lot about episode 4. So I guess that says a lot there. Episode 5, I fairly enjoyed it.
I feel like we're all on the same page here with episode 4, and I think that's why we weren't too bummed when we when we didn't cover episode 4 because not a lot really happened. Like I'm even going through my notes, and I just have like backstory, Subway, Scream, Pregnant, Spirit Fingers. Like I don't even know what these mean. I just it's just I don't know. It didn't hit for me. But 5 definitely was more. 5 was I feel like more exciting. More things kind of happened. We learned a little bit more. Yeah, but overall, I don't know. This show to me is kind of it's not hitting the way I thought season 2 would hit because I love the game, and
I kind of got to
yeah,
back you up on that because
yeah,
I honestly feel like it's not like I'm not saying it's going downhill. I still think it's fine, but I think that's just not the excitement is missing a little bit.
Yeah, is it kind of weird that From is a little bit more entertaining than
yes,
Yeah,
right now?
yes,
Hate to say it, but
it's true. And it's not a diss, it's just that I think that with this show, a video game adaptation, they're trying to capture certain moments and stuff where they're doing a good job of it, but I still feel like there's something missing.
So do you think and the reason I asked this is because I watched 2 breakdowns and they literally do the gamer breakdown and they do like the layman breakdown.
yeah,
And one of the things that they've done with it is they give you 2 totally different perspectives. So for me, as just a person who haven't played the game, I experience it different than the gamer version. So if you guys are looking at it from one standpoint, I can't say that I dislike it because I don't have any major references.
yeah.
I do watch it and I watch those recaps and they break down what they do. But I think sometimes a lot of these other channels unfortunately get a little too enamored with what's going on. And
Yeah.
so I'd rather hear somebody's real truth, unbiased, to where I'm sure a lot of these people probably hoping that somebody's gonna reach out to them to do something. It's like it all's not gonna be roses. I'm sorry, that's the reality of it. So that's why it's like
Yeah, well,
that.
here's my thing, and that's a good segue into this.
Yeah.
My issue with this is the relationship between Dina and Ellie is unquestionable in the game. They are lovers. There is no Dina struggling with her sexuality. There's no will they, won't they. There's none of that. Like Dina is a clear bisexual woman who, was with not Kenny, Jesse.
Oh,
Jesse.
With
yeah.
Jesse. Damn, with Jesse.
I shouldn't have mentioned
And,
From. Sorry.
there we go. And she also develops feelings for Ellie. I don't understand and I also feel like the quest for revenge has taken a backseat to this puppy dog Degrassi, the next generation, like will they, won't they love affair thing. And it's irritating me because Dina is locked in from this time they decide to, you know, pursue revenge. Whereas Ellie's like, I got the lights on. Like, she's just being like a big goofball the entire time. Like, there comes a point in, I think, episode 5 where Dina has to like tell her, like, yo, you want to know about my first kill? I'll tell you about my first kill. And if I had seen someone beat my mom to death in front of me, like, it wouldn't matter what my mom did. Like, and that's when Ellie locked in. And I think that's my issue with this, is that the puppy love, will they, won't they, is taking is paramount and taking precedent over the quest for revenge, which is which is really the seed that's planted in season 2 that grows into the bigger story arc. I don't like the way it's unfolding, and not because it's not like the game, it's getting in the way of what the major story is for me.
Well, I think you summed it up really well, because honestly, it doesn't allow itself to be what it is, because the source is the game. But although you can still take your own twist on it, but it's been twisted a little too much, I think, with their relationship, especially because you have this character already who's set in stone as, yes, I am a bisexual woman. I'm proud of that. I have nothing to hide. And I don't like the fact that they don't express that a little bit more, because it's kind of like they're kind of playing this game of like, oh, am I this, am I that? And it should just be, we already know as the audience.
Yeah.
But it's not layered in a way. I think that, not trying to compare it to the game, I think that there's a stepping stone that you can make this character more interesting in the show versus the game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I admire both of you guys' perspectives as gamers, because you guys have played the game. As someone who hasn't, I would say that I share that same perspective. So I don't think it's too far-fetched, you know, for someone who hasn't played the game to actually agree with what we're seeing, you know, with these episodes. Less intriguing, unfortunately. The will they, won't they, it does get kind of old. I do wish they would just play to who they truly are. I think we're at that point now in 2025. I mean, just do it, you know.
Especially for being an HBO show. Like, if it was on regular TV, network TV,
like
I could see them. I could see them teetering. Heck, even on Freeform, they've been pretty obvious about things. So,
go ahead, Joe.
No, that's a great point that Des brought out, because, like, to kind of straddle the fence on, will you completely make this a thing, or are you just gonna keep just breadcrumbing people? Like, they get it.
We, the audience, we accept it. We're fine by this time. You know, now we just want more story, like focus more on the revenge aspect, you know.
Yeah, and because it also what I've noticed that, you know, the episode from the first season where, you know, Bill, you know, he had his whole origin made up, and yet we find out that, you know, he's a gay man and he's been with this guy. So that kind of bothers me. Not of course not the gay scene. It's just the fact that you added in something that was not in the game, but yet you still won't explore the relationship that we already had with Ellie
in the game.
And that's kind of the problem, because the love is there. You showed it, but you don't have to hide that. So I think that with these two characters, it makes it more interesting because they're younger and they're at this age where they're discovering sexuality. That can help a lot of viewers and people just understand it. Like, you know, this is more than just watching the show. It's actually understanding how people work.
Exactly. I'm right there with you.
We accept it, and now we want to move forward with, like, you know, the revenge aspect of it. The audience has no problem with it. If you do, then, you know, I don't know why you're watching if that's the case, but we accept it.
Yeah.
And you know what, too? I feel like, and it's not to say that the show has to be one thing, because you can tell a love story, you can tell a story of revenge, you can still tell a story of redemption. You can roll all of that into one. But when the writing isn't there, when the substance is there, when there's no foundation underneath the writing to hold the story up, it just all feels like flat. You know, even the whole, like, okay, let's talk about the I'm immune. Like, even the reveal with that wasn't done the way it was done.
I hated that.
But like, it's like, okay, but see, we can eat stuff like that, but like, I just can't eat. I'm gonna be a dad. Like, I can't digest that. Like,
Ellie is so unserious. She's so
and she shouldn't be. She know it, and I think you mentioned it earlier. She's not. There's no growth. She's still the playful child she was in
Mhm.
season 1, where she should be like Carol from The Walking Dead. She should be locked in at this point.
But do
Yeah.
you feel like, do you feel like though? Well, okay, that's so. This is jumping into episode 5, but
Yeah,
episode 4. Well, no, I don't want to jump too far ahead yet because there's a couple of things that I actually liked about episode 4. Even though, again, never played the game, so
Mhm.
how different Jeffrey Wright's character was. I thought that scene was crazy.
I love him.
That scene, both scenes that I saw him in were ridiculous. And I thought when I thought about it, I was like, dude was only in 2 scenes. Well, technically 3, but
Yeah.
it was like the inside the van, outside the van, and then in the kitchen.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that we got his backstory though. Like,
yeah, that was neat. I was like, yo, dude is. But I think for that they showed the progression of really the young officer.
Yeah.
Because remember, he was like, hey, make a decision right now. Like,
Yeah.
And so, dude,
But
he ended up
like,
being the one at the end. I mean, after that scene, he ended up being the one that, was like, F them dudes.
But I liked it. I enjoyed also because it showed that he also there was a portion where he said with that was Josh Peck too, by the way.
Correct.
I was like, where did Josh Peck come from? Like, out of nowhere. But yeah, there was a scene where Josh Peck was talking about voters, and they wanted to know why they called them voters, and he like very sternly said because we took away their right to vote. And it was more like he kind of checking the whole room, like that's not funny. Like, if you think people taking away your right to vote is funny, you should think that's funny. And so like it just kind of showed like a flash of humanity that we will probably never see again in this man, because when he, after that one moment right there, when he ends up betraying and going to the wolves or whatever, like I won't give too much away, but he's not. Well, y'all seen he's a torturer. He's not a good. He's not a good guy.
But he had already. I mean, at that point, he had already made his decision anyway.
Yeah.
Because when he got out, because at first I was like, okay, what is he doing? Because there's no standoff, if you will. It was kind of like, hey, what up? And it was kind of. I was like, okay, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And then when he just turned around and popped them 2 grenades, I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. But
I did not expect that.
Jay, do you remember it was a real small part in the game where you actually discover that, like with the they're in that van and you walk up to the van and you open it and you see a bunch of burned up dead military people or whatever.
Yeah.
Like and I love how they wove that into the story, because in the game you don't know what happened. You just kind of open it up and find like, ammo and papers and whatever. So now we got to see what happened before that.
See, so even though that's not technically what happens in the game, they show you that scene and you get to deduce that based on So that's genius then. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that the show doesn't have their flashes of brilliance, their flashes of good writing, but like sometimes I just feel like no one in the writers' room said anything about, like, no one spoke up about the lack of animosity, like the lack of drive. Like, you're skipping around. I'm going to go explore. Like, when she said that, I nearly lost my mind when she said, well, I'm going to go explore while you triangulate. And then in what I don't like either, I'm rambling, y'all. I'm mad. Like,
well, no, it's because
it's not a ramble. It makes sense because I'm following what you're saying.
Yeah, like, because like Ellie be locked in, bro. Like, she's ready. She's not stupid. And then this is an apocalypse. Ellie is a skilled, like, survivalist. There's no way she doesn't know how to triangulate. There's no way she doesn't know how to work a map. And they're playing her like she's this stupid goofball. And it's just, and I see why people are frustrated with it.
But do you think that's more about her focus versus not knowing?
Not necessarily, because
I'm just asking. I have no clue.
Oh, well, I don't think so, because I personally, with Ellie, if you play the game, she's has goofy moments, but it's not like, and again, it's not me coming at Bella Ramsey. I think she's a fantastic actress.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nothing. Yeah, it's the writing at the end of the day.
It's the writing.
When you're the character itself, she's doing her best. I think she's still a good Ellie, but again, it's how she's written with these characters that are around her. I feel like that they're driving the car in both lanes. Like, they're driving on the median. and they're not picking which side to go to in terms of how she's going to develop so much importance to this story, because I feel like they're shifting a little bit off into like other parts, because Ellie, you play a lot with her in the game. So the thing is that she's not this like helpless little girl, you know, anymore. She's not
anymore.
Yeah, she's like RJ just mentioned, skilled and very. She knows what she's doing, and she cracks jokes in the little book and all that once in a while. But it still comes off as very, very like goofy, like this, like she can't control anything. That's not how she's a little bit more restrained in the game.
That's a better word. She's a little bit more serious, and she's not mopey, but like she takes this not quest, but she takes this revenge tour that she's going on very serious. There's at one point there's Polaroids of everybody that she's about to kill. Like it's a hit. It's a hit list of MFers that she's about to take out.
Wow.
And so like I think that's kind of where my frustration comes in at, is that like when Dina, and I feel like Dina kind of, I don't want to say she snapped on Ellie, but I think that was her telling her like, look, you got to stop playing around. Like if they killed your dad in front of you, like we got to lock in.
Yeah. Now that I hear you guys talking about it, coming from the perspective of not playing the game, I think had they written Ellie, at least for this season, to not be as excessive, because I think the goofiness and the silliness is a little bit excessive right now. Had they written it to where it's like she witnessed this terrible tragedy happen in front of her face, maybe if she was the personality type to maybe bring out her goofiness or silliness as a sort of cover for her depression and what she's truly feeling, I think that would be a little bit more differently or perceived differently. Other than that, because they didn't write it that way, I think it can be a bit annoying at times that we have yet to see the true character growth that we need to see now that this is the next season, So I think that's where the frustration comes from as well.
It's bothersome too, because as far as like her arc redemption and all that too, RJ, you remember in the game how it's different from the show when there's a stopping point. How where they're in that room that looks just like the game where they take a break. So there's a part in the game where Dina and Ellie, like they split. She leaves Dina on the couch because she's pregnant. She can't be going around everywhere. So what I kind of don't like about the show is that it's not that it's not unrealistic. It's just that I think that would have been a good stopping point for Ellie and Dina to then solve and talk about what they were going to do and express their emotions at that spot. But I think what would have been a little bit better is if Ellie was like, okay, you stay here, because I thought that's what was going to happen, is that, you stay here, I'm going to go do my thing. That would have been a perfect solo mission for Ellie and us to gather a little bit more information and see more of her ruthlessness and her skills and the more of herself growing with on a mission by herself, because she's done that before in the game.
And two, I also feel like it's a good thing you said ruthlessness, because to me, Dina has these blinders on now that Ellie had on in the game, to the point where we didn't know if Ellie was going to make decisions that would put everybody in jeopardy, because she was so determined to get, from point A to point B, to get Abby, to get Noah, to get Owen, to get Mel, to get Mel. And so I really wish that we would have seen some of Ellie's poor decision making based off of her rage to find Abby. But instead, Dina's the one who's like, hey, I've been up listening to the radio. This is what's going on. This is what I heard. This is that. Like, she's feeding all of this to Ellie when Ellie should be the one. Like, even when she said, well, you go ahead and triangulate, I'm going to go explore. Like, no, if there's something that you don't know, you should be
here learning
it. And y'all know I don't do math. There's not a single clock in my house that's set because I refuse to count. I don't do math. But if someone killed my parent, I'm locking in. I'm learning how to triangulate.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's so weird. Yeah, she should be sitting there wanting to, but she's just not there. I don't know what's going on.
I think what it is too is that they're trying to have this dynamic between these two, but it just feels like more of a friendship, and they're just there. instead of actually being layered as characters. Because Dina, to me, I think she's the one who's kind of like holding up Ellie instead of the opposite. It should be both, but Ellie is more. She's not as prone as Dina right now because Dina's pregnant. But again, it takes this. It shifts the focus off of Ellie because she has this line of continuity in the story where she faces the scars and the WLF by herself and takes them all on, and unlocks so many more secrets. And I think that was like a missed opportunity in that part.
And I don't see this Ellie doing that. Like,
yeah.
Also, it's just the way that, and once again, it's not Bella. Am I completely satisfied with the casting of Bella as Ellie? Not really. However, this is not on Bella. This is on the writing. This is on the directing. Because even when she tells her that she's pregnant in the game, Ellie is furious. She said, "Why did you come? Like you are I didn't want to be a burden." Well, you are. You are a burden now. You're pregnant. Like she is pissed. And then but in the show, I'm pregnant. I'm gonna be a dad. Like the whole calendar. Like what? You should be pissed off that you have a pregnant woman with you in the woods, hurling chunks every time something happens.
See, now I would have liked to see that dynamic. I'd like to see that.
Yeah,
but they did do the whole. They still Ellie keeps doing the whole. Well, stay here. Let me go get this figured out. Let me still having that protector mode. Hopping with that piece.
That's fair.
I think one of the things that will probably hold it back, and I think that's a struggle that a lot of our video game adaptations to television happen, where as a game, there's a lot of different decisions that we as gamers would make versus what you're getting on television. So like the character being virtually invincible in the game, because you can start over, you can replay these things, like just how a point that you made about her taking on everybody. If you're playing the game, it's going to play out a lot different than us watching it as a show, because is that so believable that she can still do these things when we clearly see anybody can die pretty much any time?
Mm-hmm.
So are we going to get into that uncanny valley, if you will, of saying, okay, we gotta go through believing now that this character, who is still vulnerable, can still be beat up, still be incapacitated, is going to be able to do all these things. From a video game standpoint, we know how that plays because we control that part.
Mm-hmm.
As a movie or as a TV show, how believable can we toe that line or go over that line?
That's a good point. That's a good point. I think
it's hard to do that.
That's kind of how and I know that's a weird juggling act that they're going to have to take in doing so, because I asked myself that question, like, okay, they don't show them getting into these places. Why? Because if this is the heavily guarded place, well, in a video game, you got to get through that, because that's the lure of a video game.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that too, because that was one of the things because that scene is that's one of the things that's taken directly from the game. I was waiting for her to kind of sneak around the guards, to stealth take some out, because in the game, God forgive me, but I had to kill some dogs in the game.
Right. Well, I heard that was different.
You had to kill some dogs in the game.
You hear the dogs, but you never saw her engage with them. And somebody had made a point about that. They were like, please don't show the dogs. Please don't show the dogs. And I was like, what are they talking about, dogs? And then, of course,
you shoot the dog, and then it does a full
no.
It's really bad.
Bad.
So to deviate from those things, deviate from those things, they have. I'm sure those are conversations that have been had, because they have to weigh the option of the somebody watching this and saying, can they be objective enough to say, she could get through all that herself, or they're going to be like, really?
My problem with that girl is they haven't proven that she can do any of that yet.
Exactly.
That's my issue.
So my question to that would be, are you going to lose your audience because they don't believe that?
Yeah, and but Gerald, I do want to say what you said was still valid, because again, it's hard to portray that in a live action film. and also make people believe, especially like this tiny little girl,
right.
big guys.
Because you're gonna take it. You're gonna take it with a grain of salt, but you're also gonna take it a little more seriously. If you see Arnold Schwarzenegger kill 40 people in the opening series, opening credits of True Lies, he killed 40 people. But that's more believable from the standpoint of a freaking.
But okay, so this is why I was a little irritated with Ellie as well, because in the game she was part of their scout team. So there's no way you don't know how to track. There's no way you don't know how to read the map. There's no way you don't know how to triangulate. So in the game, it's believable that she does this stuff because she's in training. We saw a glimpse of her training in the first episode of season 2. So it's not like she's not skilled in combat. They just haven't done a good job of showing that she, like, when they went in the subway tunnel, had she like done a couple of headshots, had she run, had she jumped, had she not looked, I mean, I get it, you're gonna look terrified, but had you not looked like this is the first time you've ever been in this situation and something like this before, later on it would be believable. But for me, you've already shown her to not be that girl, for lack of a better word. So now when it's time for you to sneak into these places and to take on this or hide from the Seraphites, you haven't shown any incredible stealth. You've in fact shown the opposite. You've shown poor judgment. You've shown you don't listen. So even Ellie Dina had to tell her, like, yo, like, the gun is the last resort. So that she don't have that IQ. She don't have a survival IQ. So to your point, like, will you lose the audience because you've already shown this girl to be incompetent, to not know what she's doing, to not have the skill set that she has in the game? So to your point, like, I see why people are a little irritated because we know what Ellie's capable of, but they're not showing it.
Yeah, we lost the audience because it's like, here we go back to square one again. When she was with Joel in season 1, she was the same way. Yeah. What have we learned from season 1 going on to season 2, Ellie? And then is your rage truly going to drive you to do what you feel needs to be done?
Yeah, she's too busy being a goofy goober.
And RJ, well, I think what the problem is that from the game, and to say this, the goofy goober. But to say this, I think this is what the problem is, RJ, is that Ellie is a character that is grounded, like the hardest mode in the game. But I think that what we have seen in the game isn't too far from the show, but they're just not doing it right. As Des was mentioning, there's some writing, like, not issues, but just holes. Because Ellie in the game, sometimes, like, those mistakes that she makes, like, let's say she walks into a room and she doesn't have like a silencer. She's like, oh, I forgot to put the silencer on my gun or something. And she makes a loud noise. All the guards are like now searching for her. Sometimes you can still show that in a way to where the mistakes benefit her. So like she'll mess up, but it'll be in her benefit. So like some guy will, like, I don't know, fall and trip or something, like around the corner because like she set up a trap or something. She's not like, so they're not utilizing that. I feel
she's just not well written. I don't know, like I enjoy, but here's the thing, I enjoy other aspects of the show. The way they introduced the spores to the game was brilliant because in season 1, they didn't mention them at all. And so we learned in season 2 in the opener that underground in certain areas there's a way that the virus can spread through, it's airborne. Yeah. And so we learned, we listened to a mother tell a story about how she literally sent her son to die. And did you guys catch the Easter egg, like the Happy Mother's Day card? So she sent him to die, like, or the episode debuted on Mother's Day, and she sent her son to die, like, on Mother's Day.
No, I didn't catch that. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, there was a little Happy Mother's Day card when they were passing by. And so, like, that, I think that they did that on purpose or whatever, just to kind of, draw you in and just make it really sad. But I felt that lady's pain. Like, she sent him in because, like she said, he's the best. And to get caught by something like a spore that you didn't even know existed, man, I'd be tearing myself up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dang, I missed that connection.
Yeah, I missed that too.
Well, I didn't really know the stakes were that tough until a girl rolled that other cigarette over, like, oh, okay. It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good scene.
Yeah.
I can appreciate scenes like that where it's a lot more deeper,
Yeah. I think Des said the word right there, deeper. I think they're not going deeper than they can in terms of like the emotional aspect. I think that you need to show us a little bit more of an edge to Ellie, because she does have like it's not just like her disability that she suffers from. It's just the fact that like what she's seen and what she's been through, and she's at a young age too. Especially not having anyone, because Ellie's always felt alone, because she always feels like people are coming after her because of they want one thing, and that's that cure. So
yeah, I think another frustrating aspect for me, and I did tell Jay this while watching it, was I'm just not really. I wish I could be a little bit more terrified and scared. Like, it's just, I don't know. The creatures don't faze me. Like, I wish we could go a little bit more.
It's weird because I think they go from like nothing to just a lot of chaos quickly. So there's no like the one that creeped me out is when she was being stalked that first time.
That was creepy. That was
because
a little creepy.
You could see it move in the very background, kind of like your dog is doing now.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, hey, what was that? And then so you're kind of like, what is happening? Because you were used to him moving a certain way in season 1, and then they're setting the stage, saying all these different things about how the cordyceps are like, communicating and doing these different things. And so I'm like, okay, I see what y'all are doing. Then they get to the ones that are a little bit smarter, and then they're like throwing you off with their own fake baby sounds and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. But then they go to all chaos all the time. The train, chaos. The gate, church, chaos. Everything is chaos. There's no like nothing tense where it just gets tense. You're more like surprise tense, but not like that creepy, let me be quiet.
I see what you're saying. Because there's not enough space in between scenes it's not just breathe, but it's not enough space to show the moment where it's like, it can be chaos, but then you go into, because when they went into where the scars were, it's like the plants are like, hey, we don't go in there. Right. That was a good part to breathe, but also it wasn't like a creepy thing. Like you didn't feel like you were in danger. Yeah. The show doesn't give me always make you feel like you're in danger. It doesn't feel like we feel safe. That's not good. It should be like
exactly.
Stakes aren't high enough.
and that's a good point. The stakes aren't high. And then what you said too, Gerald, like for me, I feel like when the chaos starts, it also ends very abruptly. And so it kind of really you don't get to kind of like sit in it for a while. Like there's no like, oh God, we just made it. It's just, Ellie's about to get tore up, and then Jesse comes and it's like, well, we're done. There's no like, you don't get to really sit and kind of like marinate in that chaos. And that's something I don't know. Like I said, when the show's writing is good, it's good. But when it's not, it just kind of falls flat sometimes.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Now, one scene that I will say that I have been looking forward to this entire time was Nora. That was perfect.
Same here.
I loved it. I loved it. Like the chase scene is like probably like the funniest thing to me in the game, because like Nora, like you're not catching her. Like she's out.
She's fast.
Yeah, she's super fast in the thing. And I don't know, Tana Gabriel, that woman.
The woman she is like.
Yes, amazing.
I've never seen a bad performance from her. Never.
No, not
no such thing, RJ.
No, not with her. In fact, I was more concerned about her, the actress, than her character. I was like, they better give her some good lines here. And Jay's like, well, in the game, I was like, I don't care about that. This actress.
You let me watch this. I'm asking this.
Yes. I'm like, do they know who they hired? Okay.
Yeah, because
the game at this point.
Because there was a scene where she's like, because I don't like the character in the game, because I don't like any of those people. But I was like, you're lying. Shut up. And then Des was like, no, stop talking. Like this is
I told him, I was like, don't talk to her like that. What's wrong? Yeah, okay.
But that scene, again, yeah, fantastic actress. I think she has never ever played any bad role. I just want to say that.
Yeah.
But the character, all those characters that are around Abby, I hate all of them. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't like any of them.
They're
But
all terrible. They're all terrible.
they're all terrible.
Yeah.
But that scene with the spores, I think, was done actually very well. As far as like the acting, in terms like just making me believe, and she's actually was really intriguing for me, more than the scenes we saw before in the episode.
Yeah.
I think too, what I loved about Nora's character was like she was loyal to Abby. She was holding her down because honestly, I wouldn't even ran. I would have just told her exactly where she was at. You already know how I
We
get
know
down.
that, sir.
Yeah, hey, you already know how I get down. She's at the hospital.
Y'all be like, y'all gonna come back and get me. Y'all know I'm gonna tell.
Listen, I'm telling. I'm a
Dragging his ass
tattletale.
through the
I
woods,
wouldn't have
like,
held
damn
down.
it.
Like, hey, I'm not dying for nobody. So, like, I really enjoyed. Now, one thing I'll say, like, I hated to hear her scream because, like, I love that actress so much, and just to see her getting like beat with that pipe,
Yeah.
like, and it's worse in the game. Like,
Now, what they did with that red light was genius, though.
Oh yeah.
How they had Abby in that red light. I was like, oh, she looks like a maniac right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how it is too. A lot of like not just foreshadowing, but just like the those type of scenes when they go down to the basements, they try to just show like the madness of the character, the presence.
I like too with like even in the game, it's so funny, and I wish they would kind of do this in the show too. I call it like starting drama. Like if it's like clickers and it's like wolves or Seraphites, I always throw a bottle like where the Seraphites are at, so the zombies or the infected will go and like eat them, and then I'll run. So I kind of want to see Ellie be smart because in the game, you like Gerald said, like you don't have to play it the same way. You can replay it, and so like in the game, you can also play really smart and stealthy. And I just wish we can see a little bit more of that skill set that we as gamers have tried. Because I've played the game a couple times. I played aggressive. I've played stealth. I've played a combination. And so it'd be just refreshing to see, a combination of skills for Ellie to use like that.
Yeah, and I want to see what Joel has taught her too. I want to see more of what he's instilled in her.
Yeah.
If it's a certain move that he did in season 1 that we can be like, oh, she did that move. Like, she actually learned something. I really want to see that.
Yeah, like
guitar.
Like RJ said, like, because I thought we were gonna get into another guitar scene. I was like, please, like,
I fast forwarded so fast.
We've seen that plenty of times.
Oh, that's like somebody said spam the B button or something. I was like, what? Because I was watching somebody do the deal, and it was like, just spam the button. You can. But on the, it was funny because that's what let me know somebody slipped up, and they did know about that part because in the other episode they was all tearing up and talking about it was so sweet watching her sing and all that, and I was like, oh, okay. So she did really do that in the game. They were like, you can skip past it though.
Oh, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, again, you can actually play the guitar.
Oh, okay.
Well, you don't play it. Like you press a couple buttons and then she starts playing the song. So
right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to swipe in the direction of the notes and stuff like that.
Oh,
okay.
But I think they did a good job in the 5th episode is when she got ready to start playing. It was almost like she started feeling her feels about Joel and then stopped. And it's like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not about to get myself in that headspace.
That's why I said it's not Bella. It's not Bella.
Yeah.
It's not her acting.
It's not. And it's I think that scene was I think that was done right though, because again, it's not about just playing. It's about that I think was shown in a good way because like, you know what? There's still a lot of hurt behind Joel. There's still a lot of things I had to think about. And like playing this guitar just reminds me of him all the time. It's just like I don't need this right now. So I kind of thought that was a good idea. And that's how it was in some moments in the game too, but not trying to compare the same.
Yeah. But so, I don't know. I don't think this was enough for me to like care about a season 3, honestly. Like I've already played the game. If they don't continue this, I'll be okay. But I'm not saying that there's not enough time to kind of like pivot. I really want them to explore the Seraphites a little bit more. Because I love cults. I love, like when people take their religion too far and things like that. I love that kind of storyline in television and movies. And the Seraphites are also scary people. Like I do feel like the wolves started a lot of that stuff, but at this point, the Seraphites to me are just kind of responding. Like even when Isaac was torturing that guy, they were kind of going back and forth. It was like, well, you shoot children, and it was like, well, no, you put an arrow in the boy's head, well, you kill children, or not by choice, you train them to shoot us, and they were kind of like going back and forth, and you kind of like got the impression that the war is just completely cyclic with those two.
Yeah, they went and they did the whole chicken and the egg, which came first, you know, and
Yeah,
so
that's
who started
the way
it and all that. So yeah, that was kind of like, okay, bro, we all the way in it. Who started it is irrelevant. Like
at this point,
we in it. You know we in it. You in a terrible spot. You're not telling me what I need to hear.
Yeah.
You know, because but I ain't gonna lie to you. You can tell that I mean, just knowing nothing about them, I can tell the Seraphites about their business because they like, look, we got people that's defected from y'all coming over here.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say what you want.
Listen,
you know,
the fact that the Seraphites won that battle at the TV station with bows and arrows and swords, and y'all had guns, hung y'all up and strung y'all like y'all lost.
Right, I could have wrapped my head around that.
Well, but they you can tell it's like it's like they define them based on the tools they're using, not the skill set that they have.
Yeah, exactly.
Because those whistles and all that, as soon as they whistle and then Dina got hit with that arrow, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, they're very strategic, but they're human.
Yeah, of course.
So,
yeah, of course. But I think they're just being underestimated to a degree. And I think that's what they're showing me. Obviously, as gameplay, you know something different, but
oh no, you're right. Don't underestimate them.
I just see what
They're good. They're good. Yeah. Obviously, they will be able to defeat the wolves with guns and stuff like that. One thing I want to touch on too, Jay, you had mentioned in the chat. Jesse and Tommy are in Seattle, and I can't wait to see the carnage that they leave behind, because in the game, Ellie's following behind Tommy, who left first to go kill Abby or whatever. And so the carnage that Tommy leaves behind is absolutely like insane. So I'm excited to kind of see where, and that's the thing too. Like that's what I said. The problem when the writing's good is good, because I'm glad they kind of found a way for them to get Jesse and Tommy out of that town by saying, like, oh, we came to get you guys because you guys, ended up just being stupid and leaving. So we're here to save you, which they ended up saving them.
Yeah. Yep. And that's crazy too. So I want to see how that comes into play.
Even though it's Tuesday, but yeah, let's go.
It is Hey, damn! It is Tuesday.
Oh, it is Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday. Yeah.
Happy Tuesday.
Look, I get it.
Like a Monday.
I get it though. Look.
Listen, it don't feel it's Friday. It's a Monday.
Look. It feels like a Monday, but yeah, I think in the game it's different. I'm glad that you brought that up too, RJ, as far as like how they're getting like a trail behind. And the fact that what happens to Tommy later on, and just like what's gonna how that will be revealed is crazy too. But with Ellie and their relationship, it's sort of the same. And they all run together at this point. Yeah, we lost count after COVID. I think that him getting upset with Ellie is another part of the game that they did show. I think you could have shown that any kind of way, but I think it was fair. I like the fact that he was a little more like, hey, like, do you think I really want to talk to you right now?
Let me ask you this: was that because like you're supposed to be my friend and you kind of like low key like pushed up on my ex, or was that like you put everybody in danger? Because I feel like it was a little bit of both. Jesse tries to act like he's cool with Dina and Ellie, but I'm sorry, I'd be furious.
He's upset.
He's petty.
Yeah.
But he also don't know there's a baby cooking, do he?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, does he know?
I don't think he knows yet. So if he don't know yet, I think he's more upset about the relationship, because especially being that Dina had obviously went back for a little bit. So, I think he feels some type of way.
Ain't no wrong. We all spun the block a few times.
I think it's all like RJ said. I think it's definitely just adding up to like what she did with Dina, and just being so reckless and young because Jesse looks at Ellie like, just get it together. Like, why can't you just?
Yeah, because notice how he was talking to her versus how he was responding to Dina.
Yeah.
He was a lot more nicer when he was responding to Dina, but with Ellie, he was like, F you.
He wasn't playing with her. It's funny too because like in the little after interview, she was Bella Ramsey had said that they were kind of like at odds because they both love Dina and they both are her protectors, and they had like I forgot she said it, she was like their masculinity is clashing. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's it. I feel like you just were grimy and you went for your brand next. Like
that's not the I don't think it was a masculinity thing. I think it was just how you are.
Yeah, like you grimy, you're wrong. Like
it could have very well been the recklessness of it all as the reason why he responded the way that he did, because he already knew he knew about the kiss. That's already been addressed. And then in the next whatever scene with Ellie, he was training her. Then it was the council, and then Ellie left, Dina joined. I'm wondering if he's more mad at the fact that Dina was there with her.
Oh, that could be it too.
I think so.
I don't know.
Maybe.
See, if it was me, nobody would live to tell a story. We would never know.
Oh God.
No one would know.
Nobody would know. But yeah, no, I think that's what it is. I think it's all of it, honestly, and just because he was with her first. But I think Ellie's I think he just is annoyed by Ellie.
Yeah. Irritated to have to save him. I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's that too. I think it's definitely that. Yeah, because he does come through, but I think that it's just seeing Ellie in this young light. He's just kind of like,
oh, you know what? I think y'all are right, because he said, because she was like, yeah, we didn't need saving, and he was like, until you did, or something like that, and I was like, oh shoot, yeah. Like, he kind of cooks you, like, just be quiet, back of the line.
But I thought that was kind of slick though, how she kind of gave that look, and that shadow made him look kind of like Joel.
That was
hard.
She was staring for a long. They held that shot for a long time, obviously on purpose, but they did that in a way that made it really, really, really look like she was like, damn, is that Joel over there?
She's like, damn, did I die?
Yeah, he came through though. Yeah.
I think that was another way of showing that, like, hey, like, kid, because that's what we used to call her. Like, you gotta, like, I know you're young, but still, we are in times where we cannot play any games.
She knows better.
Let's get it together. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she knows better.
I also like I enjoyed how Ellie is also protective of Dina, even though she knows she's immune. How she told her, like, well, I'm gonna distract him. You get in that cage and like you lock yourself in. Now, what I didn't expect was for these I Am Legend stalkers to be ripping the cage open. I didn't know that they like did stuff like that. I thought they were just gonna like bang and stuff. When they started like, peeling the cage back, that's when I was like, well, okay, it's time to turn the lights on and another day. So it was like, well, that's that.
So RJ, I read in the game that actually I read this article, I think while a video I saw back a while ago that was explaining that those creatures, they didn't really show it in the game though, but they're considered, as far as like their biography and stuff, like the second strongest as far as like their strength, because it's just so unlimited. So besides, the big boys, boomers and all that.
I love the stalkers though. Like when they panned over and it was all like, she was like, "Oh, it's just one of them. We're gonna flank. We're gonna do this." Yeah, I think not. I think not. When they panned, and let's see, when they panned to all little stalkers, I sat up and I was like, I think I should pause this and I think I should finish this tomorrow.
No.
And then when things started popping up, I was like, well, Jay gonna have to be mad at me because I'm finishing this tomorrow. Because you had wrote in the chat, you were like, did y'all see the episode? And I said, some of it. Yeah.
That's what you meant.
Yep.
I'd love to see you around Halloween time. You're a joy. I'm pretty sure.
I love it though. I love Halloween, but like anything scary, nope. I gotta watch it, and I gotta watch Tinkerbell's Secret of the Wings after. Or
no,
like
not
Moana. or like Encanto. Like I gotta watch like something like happy or funny. I gotta watch SpongeBob. Like I can't go to bed.
I can
like,
see RJ like the credits cutting and then like him playing like something like Paw Patrol in the background.
Over here watching Bluey. Like I hate being scared at night. Like I can't do. Like after I watched Imaginary, I came home and I watched Pokemon because I wasn't gonna go to sleep off of like being in another world. And then sometimes it doesn't work. Like the last couple nights ago, I had a dream that I was in The Last of Us, and I was doing what I did best. Was I locked myself out? I locked myself in a room, and everybody got eaten.
What? Yeah, we ain't teaming up with you.
Ran up the stairs, and I closed, and I locked that bitch too. And it was banging on the glass door.
This dude, man.
And I was like, nope, can't help.
RJ, the real question is, when are you going to play that game with the lights off and surround sound headphones?
Never. I've confused.
Keyword never.
Brightness all the way up during the day.
Oh my God.
I bet the contrast on your TV don't even work right anymore.
My TV not gonna last long because of the way that brightness.
That mug look like a white screen.
Oh my God.
Can't even tell the picture of the other characters.
I told you I was gonna buy you a TV that's gonna have the settings set where it's gonna be just dark.
I can't touch it.
Yeah. I told you, man. It'll help you out.
Every time I turn the brightness up, it's gonna have to send you a code to let me turn the brightness.
You're gonna get a text that nope.
Nope.
Yep, you're gonna have to call customer service. There's not gonna be a number for it.
At this point, let the man be scared. Just let him.
Them brightness go all the way up.
I don't know why, but just for games like that, any horror game, I cannot play during the day. I have to play it at night with surround sound headphones on because I have to know what's around. Yeah, I have to know what's around me, and it's just more intense. But I don't know.
No, I mean never that. I hate it. I hate it. Daytime while I'm not playing. Like whenever I go live, like when I play Last of Us 2, it's always during the day. It's always during the day.
I always play it at night. That's the only way I can.
Yeah. So what did y'all think? 1 through 10 rating episode 4 and episode 5.
Episode 4, I'm gonna give probably a 5. I wasn't a fan of the ending of her revealing, her am I allowed to say it?
As well, it's 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, her revealing her pregnancy and then it just ending. I'm like, no. Yeah. And then this episode, I would probably give it like a 6 or 7.
Okay, fair.
I would probably have to go for episode 4. Yeah, probably like a 5 because it's just the writing for me. It's just so many things I just see that they missed. This episode, probably like a 6.5. That's it.
For me, probably about a 6.5 for a 4, and then a 7. Little less than 7, about 7.2, 7.3, somewhere in there for 5. I think there were some story beats in there that intrigued me. Not being a gamer doesn't really bother me because I think I can't remember who said in the chat earlier. Not being a gamer, I don't have major issues because I feel like they're making a choice. Yeah, there we go. T Wade said that. I said they're making a choice. So I'm okay with it. I do feel like they should probably take a couple more risks. I think part of it is being afraid of the nerds, basically, and not wanting to. That's not what. Okay, then just give us the story beat. Go beat for beat if you want to do it that way. But I think they're making choices in order to help. Golly, this is gonna be weird to say, but to kind of help fortify the story, but in a more television way as opposed to the game.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it's not easy to do. So, but I'll say a 4 for episode 4. I didn't like it at all. In fact, like it was just so off-putting to me. I just was like embarrassed that I was recommending the show to people. Yeah, but 5, I'll give it a solid like 7.5. I enjoyed it. It definitely was like. I feel like this could be like an upward trend for the show if they do it right. I don't think it can get any worse. I'm expecting it to get better. I think that they. I don't want to give anything away from the game, so I'll just say that there's things that happen that probably are my favorite parts of the game, and if done right, even if not done the same, if done right, if well written, we'll be fine.
That's
Um,
exactly how I feel because
Okay.
you don't have to say anything. You don't have to compare it. It's hard to compare it to not compare it to the game,
Mhm.
but it's still respected in its own way. Just taking inspiration from certain parts can make the show better.
and just do it well, even if it's not shot for shot, even if you don't get to point A to point, B the same way in the game. I don't care about that as long as it's well written. Same thing with Walking Dead. The Walking Dead comics are, they differ from the books, but how you get from Carol from season one to Carol from, now is, completely different because she's dead in the comics. So I don't care about changes, just do them well. So I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Make sure you follow all panelists down below in the descriptions. All of our links, our social medias are down below. We have content and things coming up. Make sure you join us here same time, same place next week. We'll be covering another episode of Last of Us. We also have some other things coming out. I believe we're doing Final Destination and a couple of other movies that we have on our calendar. So stay tuned and later days.
See you later.